What's up, YouTubers? I have had a lot of requests to do a how-to to put a light in Toby, a headlamp. So I have acquired this 2012 Toby for my dad, and I am going to put a light in it for him, and I'll show you step by step what to do. Now, this is the new type of Toby with the flat drive unit, so I've never done one of these before, so it's going to be interesting. So let's get started. These are the things you will need: a Dremel or similar rotary tool, a soldering iron, of course a grain of rice light bulb, either 3 volt or 1.5 volt, a train to modify, pliers with a rubber band to help you hold everything in place while you're soldering, some solder, and perhaps some sticky tape afterwards. So let's get started. Alright, this is the Toby without the cover, and I've taken the screws out to make it easier to show you how to take it apart. Now, the first screw you want to remove is in this hole here where I'm pointing. We've got something better to point with. There, that hole there. Take that screw out, and then this plate comes out. Is it going to come out? Yep. Alright, this whole plate lifts out, and then you'll find another screw here holding the drive unit down. So you remove that, and then the drive unit will simply lift up and backwards, and then you've got the drive unit out. So we can put this aside for now, because this is the part we'll be working on. Now we can attach the positive wire to here, where this tiny little brass circle is, and we'll attach the negative wire somewhere on this negative terminal where it won't get crushed by the spring, and that will allow it to work. When the locomotive's turned on, the light will come on, and when you turn it off, the light will go off. Alright, so I've got my Dremel out, and I have a nibbler bit on the end. I'm not sure if you can see that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to make a hole where his fake headlamp is, so I can push through the bulb once it's all wired up. So I'm not going to go and film all that because it might be quite painful with a bit of swearing, because I only get one chance to get it right, but we'll see how we go. Alright, there's my nasty hole that I just drilled. You can see through. It's probably the best I could do, because it's a very fiddly job, and there's a lot of stuff inside that gets in the way, if you can see. But that's where you want the hole. And I'll now remove some of these tabs here so they don't hinder the wires, because as you see, it's kind of battery shaped, and we don't want it getting in the way of the wiring that we're going to add. Okay, so we've just removed a little bit from the side there. That's the side where the switch is, so the wires can pass through unhindered. And the next step will be soldering. Okay, so we've done the soldering, and as I said, we soldered to this ring on the switch for the positive, and the negative I've soldered rather badly to this terminal, and it all seems to be holding. You don't want to get it so the spring crushes the solder when you've got a battery in. So I'll just show you now by switching it on, and you can see that the light lights up. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and fit that through Toby's hole that we drilled, and probably secure it in with hot glue. So be right back. Okay, so I've secured the wire and the light inside Toby with some Sally's super glue. I couldn't be bothered getting the hot glue gun out. As you can see, we have light. Now, I could have been a bit neater. I probably could have used a drill, but I didn't have the ideal drill for this job. So you've got to use what you've got at hand when you do things like this. I think it looks not too bad. I could tidy it up a bit more, but oh well, what can you do? I can always touch it up with silver paint around the lamp to make it look like there's a lamp. So yeah, I'm going to put him back together now and give him a quick test run outside for you guys to see. Okay, so reassembly, pretty straightforward. The drive unit slots with this slot into the hole in the front of the chassis. If I can get it to sit. The wheels do not even need to come out. Okay, so that's in. So now we screw it down. One screw holds down the drive unit here. I'll show you better here. And screw that in fairly tight, but not too tight because you don't want to crack the plastic. So that's in, and his plate that I showed you earlier, which neatens everything up, has a tab on the opposite side from the switch which goes under this plastic piece, and then it sits down like so, and the screw goes in this hole. Oops, but something we forgot. Something very important. The coupling. You don't want to put it back together and then realise you forgot to put the coupling in, which I do often. Alright, so coupling sits on that little nub that sticks out, and then the plate goes over the top. Screw goes into the plate, and then you simply screw that down. Screwdriver does not want to cooperate because it's magnetic, which can be handy sometimes. So we screw that down, and that holds the coupling in place firmly. Now for the body, I removed this piece. If you can see it, it's got two holes and the screw to hold the cover to the base. So this goes back in with the round part at the front, and two screws hold that in. You don't want to get the screws mixed up because I think they're a different size. And that screws back in with two screws. Here's the first one. And it's sitting up on a bit of an angle, which hopefully will rectify itself when I put the other screw in. And it has. Alright, so that holds the base to the body. And now we can put it back together, but first I'm going to put a new battery in. Okay. Okay, so we'll just pop this old battery out. Pop in a fresh battery. Because I want to see, and I'm sure you want to see, how bright it will be with the new battery. Sort of tuck the wires inside, which can be a pain. I might trim the wires next time I do this. Because they want to pop out every which way. Okay. Now, that should screw together. If I've done everything right. But it's not. So I've done something wrong. Let me have a look. Okay, this plate, this grey plate in here, I had it in upside down. That's why it would not go back together. So let's try that again, shall we? Okay, so there you see the two Tobys. This is the one I just did for my dad, and this is my one with a new battery in it. And we'll try and compare the brightness if we can. This one seems quite a bit brighter. This is the 3-volt globe bulb. Okay, so this is the one we just modified with a 1.5 volt grain of wheat bulb. This is the Trackmaster 2012 version, and this is my 1996 TOMY version with a 3-volt bulb that I did in my other video. They're quite different underneath. This one has a Thomas type drive unit, the old Thomas type, and this one has a flat drive unit. So they're both similarly bright. But I think this one is slightly brighter because it's a 1.5 volt bulb and it takes less current to make it light up. This one is a 3-volt bulb, but it's not that much dimmer. So I think the mod's possible with either type of bulb. But this one is actually quite a bit brighter on camera, I think anyway. Let's go out and give them both a run together. Okay, so we're out at the layout, and on the outside track is the 2012 Trackmaster for my dad, and on the inside track is my one. So let's see how they go. Looking brilliant with lights, I must say. The newer version is of course quite a bit faster. So yes, a worthwhile mod if you can solder, or if someone you know who is older can solder for you. Quite straightforward if you have the bulbs, and quite worth doing. And I think it could be done with other locomotives. My Toby's had a derailment, Yes. I'm going to present this one to my dad because he's been waiting quite a long time. I ordered it about 2 months ago and it got lost in the mail. But the seller has replaced it with a new one. So I'm happy, and I'm sure he will be very happy with the mod as well. So thanks for watching, guys.